Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. I'm Tim Martin, Vice President of Sales and Service for Dräger in the United States. I'm sure you're all familiar with the recent reports coming out of DeKalb County Fire Department's use of our PSS 7000 SCBA. These reports have made some strong claims about our product performance and have also made some strong claims that this performance has resulted in unsafe conditions for the firefighters. The Dräger PSS 7000 SCBA, which we have here today, is a safe, robust product that meets and exceeds all applicable safety standards for the industry, and it simply does not perform in the manner described in the reports if it is cared for, used, and maintained properly. So today's product demonstration, as Marion had mentioned, is intended to help the audience understand our side of the story. And as Marion mentioned, we also urge folks to visit our special website where we do have a complete story of our viewpoints in an unedited fashion. Now I would like to focus on the reason we're here today, and that is the product demonstration. I'll turn it over now to Paul House, who will coordinate the demo.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Paul House, and Andy Dickens is going to give me a hand on just giving a brief demonstration on the SCBA, and just to show you how the apparatus works, what's on the apparatus, and how to breathe from the breathing apparatus itself. So, Andy, if you just give us a hand here for a moment. Okay, just before we put the breathing apparatus on, I just want to go through the main foundation points of the breathing apparatus itself. First start, you've got a mask, a full face mask. You have a light head-up display which gives information on the air that's within the cylinder itself. Excuse me. You have a head strap to secure the mask to the face, and it's got a lower jaw, temple, forehead to give a good, secure fit. On the breathing apparatus itself, you have, I'll just turn Andy around, you have the backplate and harness system, which distributes the weight evenly over the firefighter's back. You have a cylinder which supplies the air to the firefighter, and this comes in 30, 45 or 60-minute duration, depending on the requirements of the fire department. Down here you have what we call a first stage pressure reducer. This breaks the cylinder pressure of 4,500 down to a working pressure that can be managed by the firefighter. You have a hose system, one going to a buddy breather, so he can administer a rescue if he needs to, rescue a fallen firefighter to help drag them out and can breathe off his cylinder. I'll just turn Andy around. You have rear speakers around here, and this is a warning system that comes out from the back as well as the front of the firefighter. So should a firefighter go down, there is plenty of warning that's been given from the apparatus to signal another firefighter. We have the lung demand valve, or the second stage regulator. This fits within the mask and supplies air to the firefighter. What we're going to do now, Andy's just going to turn on the system, don the mask or put on the mask, and then breathe, and he's going to do a little exercise of what happens if you get a leak in the mask by pulling it forward, because this is a positive pressure system. All systems today are positive pressure, which means that on your first breath the system will turn on and supply air to the firefighter on demand. Should there be a leak around the mask, air will go out through that area of leak to stop any atmosphere from creeping inside the mask.
Turn the cylinder on. It takes about 13 cycles of rotations on the cylinder valve to get it fully turned on. At that point, I will check my sentinel to make sure that I have adequate pressure to use the SCBA. You can see here we have 3,220 psi. Then I'll don the face piece. When I don the face piece,
I want to start with the lower straps first, tighten those in accordance to the Dräger instructions for use, ending with the top strap. I then take the LDV, place it inside the inside the face piece. Take the first breath, check the man valve to make sure it's securely in place. After that, I'll show you the leak around the face piece if I were to pull the face piece away from my face.
What Andy has just shown you there, that should a leak occur around the mask, the air from the system will go out through that area to protect the firefighter. So no outward atmosphere that may be hazardous can creep inside the face mask. You can hear him breathing. If he wants to take the lung demand valve off, what he has to do now is, it's a two-step process, hold his breath, turn off the lung demand valve, press the button and release.
After taking the lung demand valve out of the mask, taking the mask off my face, I would then turn the cylinder off. Make sure it's completely turned off. Bleed off the pressure that's inside the SCBA, inside the airline still. Reset the lung demand valve to make sure it's in the donning mode, and then turn the sentinel off by pressing both buttons on opposite sides. You have to hold that for 4 seconds. The double zeros go away, the sentinel's been turned off.
Now within the apparatus there is a number of safety systems in here. As we said before, end of service life is once the cylinder gets down to a certain pressure that he's running low on air and he should be evacuating the building. He also has information on the HUD on the inside. You can see the lights sort of flashing there, just turning itself off because he's now turned his system off. That supplies information, as I said before, of the content of air that's in the cylinder itself. So it gives him visual information. But also we have audible information as well. If you press this yellow button here, this is a warning device, a distress unit that I need assistance. And also on the back we have what we call buddy lights. So his partner who he's working with can also see if he's in low air mode or just general working mode. One of the things that we teach all firefighters is the proper application as well as the donning method of the lung demand valve, the second stage regulator. As you saw what Andy did before, he places the lung demand valve into the mask. You hear it click. He also pulled on the lung demand valve to make sure it's secure. And we teach that all the time. Why? Because this is a push and pull, a push-in system. So you disconnect by pressing the button there and just a slight turn to release. So to push back in, you push the lung demand valve in, pull on it to make sure it's secure. And that should be part of your daily donning process. So you push the lung demand valve into the mask, pull back, you know you're nice and secure, and then breathe and then do what you have to do the mission. If you, one of the things that we also teach is that the maintenance that needs to be required is small but important. We say at least once a month that you put a small amount of lubricant there. It's a special lubricant, high temperature. You put it on, you smear it right in. You can hardly see it, but makes a world of difference in connecting and disconnecting the lung demand valve to the mask. Failing to do that, and if this becomes very dry, you may have a little bit of an issue trying to put it in, and that's not good practice. Good practice is lubricate at least once a month or as required, and then you'll have a easy way of connecting and disconnecting the lung demand valve to the mask.
Does it matter the number of times that you may use it inside that month as far as the lubricant?
No, not really.
Lubricant, no matter whether you use it one time or
it's a robust, it's a very robust lubricant, high temperature because of the conditions the firefighters go in. But we preach and say to them at least once a month, lubricate. It's good practice, it's good housekeeping as well. And also we ask them to simply get a cloth, a damp cloth, wipe the top of the what we call a P connector, push-in connector, and then put the lubricant on itself. I'm just going to show you something else that's important as well. I'm just going to get Andy to turn around. If everyone can see. You notice that when Andy was turning on the cylinder, he turned it on all the way. And this is not turning it on all the way, just cracking it like this. That's only about a quarter of a turn or less, and not very good practice, because what could happen is something could touch the hand wheel, and with a slight turn, it goes into the off position. What we preach all the time, and what we teach all the time, is that you turn the cylinder on all the way, and as Andy said, it's about 12 or 13 quarter turns, as you see there, and then back it off just 1 quarter turn. And that's good practice, and what happens if anything strikes or comes in contact with the hand wheel, it will not turn itself off.
What should firefighters be doing every day to this equipment? I mean, they say that they check it, but what should you be doing every day?
Okay, I'll hand that to Andy, being
Okay.
a ex-firefighter, so he'll take you through the daily check that every firefighter should do. Andy?
Each fire department certainly has their own standard operating guidelines that they would tell their firefighters to perform. But at a minimum, considering it's a life safety device, when you get to the station, you would check the unit to make sure that the cylinder obviously has air in it. Then you would turn the cylinder on and check the SCBA for its functionality, making sure that there aren't any leaks, making sure that your lung-to-man valve's in place, intact, working correctly, making sure that the air is flowing through the system as it normally would. That would be the minimum of their daily requirements at the fire department. Certainly other fire departments have other standard operating procedures. My fire department, when I was a professional firefighter, weekly we did what we called a high-pressure leak test. Just check the system thoroughly to make sure that there were no leaks in the system, even at a very small amount that wouldn't be noticeable maybe to you on your daily check.
One of the things that on the daily check is not only checking the content, as Andy said, of the air, but it's also a physical check to make sure that everything's in its place, such as the cap in the back here is in its place. Is the lung-to-man valve in working order, because they've got to turn it on, turn it off? Is the front connector loose? Because these just don't pop out. They are locked into position, and so he would do a daily check. If this was loose in any way, this would give a leak. And you could hear the leak as well as probably feel it, because if this is loose, you actually feel this wobbling around, and you hear the leak coming out through the area if it wasn't maintained properly. And that's why we, again, go back to the fire departments and say that maintenance, preventative maintenance, is the key for a good, sound, reliable breathing apparatus.
A click is heard when the lung-to-man valve is fully pushed into the face mask. Cracking open the cylinder valve hand wheel is not good practice.
And this is what we teach all fire departments when we're doing our training and handover of our breathing apparatus. This is something we've been doing for an awful long time, not in the last 5 minutes, but we've been doing it ever since I've been with the company, which is 26 plus years. Tim?
Yeah, I'd just like to say a few more words before we open it up to questions regarding the demo. First, certainly want to reiterate that Dräger's #1 priority always has been and always will be safety. The safety of our products, the safety of the people that use them, and the safety of the communities that they serve. Secondly, proper care and maintenance of any piece of safety equipment, especially SCBA's, is absolutely critical to maintain the safety of those products and keep people safe. This includes adhering to the guidelines of the manufacturer as well as guidelines outlined by NFPA, that's the National Fire Protection Association. They have a standard number 1852 that outlines preventative maintenance. Thirdly, we work very closely with all of our customers to continue to educate them on the proper use and maintenance of our products to ensure that they are keeping their people safe. Fourth and finally, regarding the NIOSH investigation that has been kicked off, we want to reiterate that Dräger is in full support of this. We encourage and welcome a very robust investigation with NIOSH, as we are very confident that this independent testing of our units will certainly validate the safety of them.